Unemployment. Rapper products. When something or someone becomes popular, it's inevitable that merchandise will be released to capitalise on that popularity. You see it all the time with actors, YouTubers, singers, and rappers are no different. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing a selection of hip-hop products, from Drake's book to Travis Scott's seltzer, and even Rick Ross's shampoo. As a man with experience in releasing a successful line of merchandise myself, I'll be giving my honest thoughts on each item and a rating out of 5. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So without further ado, let's get into the first item. Cacti, Travis Scott's hard seltzer drink. Now I've actually got 3 of these, 2 strawberries, and we've got the 1 pineapple. Seeing as we've got 2 of the strawberry, it makes sense to try those first. I've gone for quite a large helping there. I think I just naturally saw alcohol and decided to pour the entire can in there. Okay, I don't mind it. I have to say it's a little bit weird having like the sort of beer seltzer flavour mixed with a fruit flavour, but it is quite nice. Let's have another sip, shall we? I mean, yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, the strawberry flavours aren't that strong. It feels more like an odour than an actual taste, but you still get a few hints of strawberry in there. I don't mind that. We'll give it a rating in a second. Next up then, let's go for the pineapple. Travis Scott's Cacti pineapple, let's give it a test. Okay, I can't say it particularly reminds me of any pineapple I've ever eaten. However, there is a bit of a taste in there. Okay, in terms of rating then, now I've tried to remove the prejudice of me not liking seltzer for this, but with that being said, this is a subjective rating. I'm feeling a 3.5 out of 5.
Let's go!
Okay, next up then, we've got Post Malone Oreos. There's very interesting sort of makeup here. We've got like the half usual dark side, and we've got the lighter side, which has sort of been infected by a venom symbiote almost, because it's got splashes of black in there.
We are venom.
I can't lie, that smells divine. Okay, Posty swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavour cream Oreos. Going in for the taste. That is genuinely incredible. I don't know what Posty has put in these, but these are incredible. I might have to keep them on the side and just eat them throughout this video. Especially with some of the stuff we've got coming up, I might need to wash down with a nice flavoured item. Second one. Okay, rating. They're incredible. As I said for the first review, the first time I tasted it, they're really, really nice. I think, honestly, I'm headed for a 5 out of 5 right here. Post Malone Oreos getting a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Okay, next up, we don't have a food or drink item. We have Drake's book. It's called Titles Ruin Everything, spread across 2 pages for some godforsaken reason. Now, obviously, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. However, it does feel very pretentious. Titles ruin everything. It's such a Drake thing to say, I feel like. But either way, we'll go into this without bias. I will go away, read it fully, and give my full rating, and I'll cut to that in a minute. But for now, my first reaction to Titles Ruin Everything. I might need a sip of the cacti before I delve into this. Okay, so the first few pages say, I actually do have good things to say about you, just not this book. Terrible start. Right, what else have we got? I am the soundtrack for lives. I mean, reading into that, that's not a very good life, that go on without me. I mean, this is just surface level, Instagram caption level, as I sort of supposed it would be. Canadian money does not fold. Isn't Canadian money called like Looney Tunes or something? Anyway. Okay, so it's been a couple of days and I've now read this thing from front to back. It only took me 8 minutes to read, but I still feel like my time was wasted. My absolute favourite line here would have to be, one-sided beef is not beef, it's chicken. Rather than give you my rating out of 5 now, I thought I'd write it as a review on Goodreads. 5 stars. This is the best book I have read in the last 10 years. Of course, it is the only book I've read in the last 10 years, but still. Critics might call this 167-page book a hollow, pretentious, ego-stroking cash grab. But I disagree, it's 168 pages. People will be critical of the lack of content here, as there's barely a line of text per page, sometimes less. But Drake is clearly catering to the illiterate idiots who purchased this book, which I guess includes me. In all seriousness, 1 out of 5.
Embarrassing!
Right, this next item is a bit of an interesting one. It's the Travis Scott Football. Now, I believe this was given out in his European leg of his Circus Maximus Tour, hence the writing the Circus Maximus Europe Tour 2024. Definitely read between the lines there. But there's no real way I can test this without going out and playing football. So that's what I did. Right, for this one, it's not an around the world, it's an around the Astro world. Oh my god, definitely cut that. Right. Oh shit!
This is what he does! This is what he flipping does! It's illegal!
Okay, the Travis Scott Football, after going out and playing with it, I'm going to rate it a 4.5 out of 5. In terms of usability, it is just a football. However, I was able to pull off my first ever round the world with it, so it gets plus points for that. The only thing stopping this from being a 5 out of 5 would be the dirt pattern on it. Although I like it as a design choice, it was quite annoying when I was trying to clean it. I was scrubbing and scrubbing away at parts that were literally just printed on. Either way, 4.5 is a very decent rating, so we can move on to the next item. And that next item is the Lil Yachty Reese's Puffs. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I will just preface, I won't be trying these. Firstly, as you can see, they're 3 years out of date. And secondly, the main ingredient is peanuts, and I'm allergic to peanuts. So unfortunately, I won't be trying or dying over these Reese's Puffs, but I still need to give them a rating. So to do that, I've asked my friend.
So I would give the Reese's Puffs cereal a 3.5 out of 5, just based on the crunchy texture, the peanutness of them. Obviously, you can't have peanuts because you are severely allergic. But yes, 3.5 from me.
So as you've just heard, the verdict is 3.5 out of 5. Now, I won't be trying these myself to confirm that, we'll just go with 3.5. With Lil Yachty's Reese's Puffs as far away from me as possible, let's move on to the next item, which happens to be the Migos Wrap Snacks. Okay, so this flavour is sour cream with a dab of ranch. So just to preface, I've actually never had sour cream with a dab of ranch flavoured potato crisps in the past. Anyway, we'll give it a taste. Go for a smaller one to start with. I can't say I'm a fan. We'll try a couple more just to get a proper sense of their actual taste. They're very sweet, I will say that. Alright, we'll go for one more. We'll go for a proper big one this time, just to confirm once and for all the rating. Okay, as I said, they're not really for me. If I was to give them a rating, I'd probably give them a 1.5, maybe a 2. We'll go for a 2. Okay, next up we have Drake's Oreo Lighter. Now, I haven't actually tried this already, so I have no idea if it's going to work. It'll be a bit embarrassing if it doesn't, but obviously we'll just go through a trial by fire, I suppose. That pun actually wasn't intended, but let's give it a try. Shall we try to spark it up? There we go. It works. I suppose that's the only reaction I can have to that. Okay, now that we've tested it and we know it works, I've obviously got to give it a rating, which is kind of difficult to do, really. I mean, it's a lighter. It works. I suppose that's the only criteria we have. But I've actually thought of another way to see how good this lighter is. Reintroducing the Post Malone Oreo.
He's back.
Now, I've read online that Oreos are fireproof, fire resistant, and there's no real way to validate that without testing it. I suppose that both tests the Oreo and the lighter. I mean, black smoke is coming off and it has burnt it. Oreos clearly aren't fireproof. Okay, so we've done the light test. It lit up. That's the only test we could really do, other than the Oreo burning test, which it passed with flying colours. I'll probably give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
And let's eat that Oreo as well, see if it's added any flavour. Definitely tastes charred. Okay, next we've got, and I can't believe this exists, but Rick Ross shampoo.
It make no sense, it make no sense.
In terms of first impressions, the branding is quite nice. It's clean and premium, but when I actually used this thing, it didn't really go well. As you can see by the footage I'm overlaying right now, this thing was not consistent at all. It was watery, it kept spilling everywhere. However, there are some positives here. Firstly, it smells quite nice, and secondly, the branding is quite good. However, the liquidity lets this thing down massively. I'm feeling a 2 out of 5. Okay, let's move on to the next product. Snoop Dogg red wine. Gin and juice was right there. Do you think Snoop crip walked over the grapes to make this? I don't know, either way, we're off the Snoop tonight. Now, just like Travis Scott's hard seltzer and the Migos rap snacks, I actually don't like red wine. So this taste test is definitely going to be interesting. Now, I'm not bougie, I haven't got a wine glass to try this in. I'm not going to swindle it around and say it tastes quaffable or anything like that. I'm just going to chuck it down my gob. It's bitter, which I suppose is a common thing with all red wine. It's alright, we'll just finish it off. Overall, I think I'd give this thing a 3 out of 5.
We got to have a revote.
We'll have a little bit more just to confirm that rating. Here we go down the hatch. Okay, with Snoop's red wine out of the way, we have another beverage. Prime, but not just any Prime, this is the Central C edition. On the front it just says Central C, so I don't know what flavour this is. Probably lead poisoning. That's weird, it has the same ingredients as Rick Ross's shampoo. I'm joking, this is definitely good for you. What do medical experts know anyway? I'm about to have generational health. Alright, in the interest of saving my red cups, we're going to go straight in from the bottle for this one. Oh, before we can try it, I can actually see the ingredients here. So it says flavoured drink with kiwi, citrus and raspberry flavour. Let's give it a try. I don't think I've ever had anything that's kiwi flavour, but that's alright. It's definitely very sweet and full of sweeteners and all that rubbish, but in terms of flavour, it's okay. I think the Central C Prime is going to get a solid 3.5 out of 5 for me. The next item is an interesting one. It's the OVO sleep mask. I'll go away, try this on, go to bed and wear my sleep tracker so I can give you a fair rating. Cut to me doing that right now. Okay, so I tried Drake's sleep mask the other night and tracked my sleep using this wristband. On the night I went to bed at 1:10 and fell asleep after just 6 minutes, sleeping deeply for 40% of the night. In my last video, I found out that Drake's music sends you to sleep really quickly, and it turns out that this sleep mask is no different. For that reason, it's going to get a 4.5 out of 5. There are a couple of things holding the eye mask back from the elusive 5 out of 5 rating. Firstly, it did take me a couple of minutes to get comfortable while wearing this thing. This part in particular seemed to dig in. Secondly, it's kind of hard to measure whether this eye mask actually helped me fall asleep, as I went to bed late and was already tired. And lastly, it's just an eye mask. If I wore any other one, OVO or otherwise, I probably would have fallen asleep just as quickly. Moving on then, the next item is a big one. It's the Post Malone World Pong League Beer Pong, ages 18 and up. Right, here we go then, opening it up for the first time, the official World Pong League rulebook. We don't need that. Now apparently this buzzer thing, you press the top and it's like a voice command from Post Malone or something. I have not had the foresight to charge and include any batteries with this, so we're not going to bother with that for the time being. Instead, what we're going to do is play a normal game of beer pong. Now you might be wondering, how am I going to do that? How am I going to play a normal game of beer pong with just myself? And to that I say, I'm just going to throw the ping pong balls into each cup and drink whatever's in them, because that's how alcoholics play. Now I know what you're thinking, why does the liquid in the Prime cup look the same as the liquid in the Rick Ross shampoo cup? And to that I'd say, oh no, I landed in the Snoop Dogg red wine, I guess I'm going to have to drink it. Oh, a rimmer, I nearly got in the cacti. Oh wait, I did the second time around, I guess I'm going to have to drink the cacti now. Oh no, I've gone in the Prime. This is the greatest game of beer pong anyone has ever seen. There we go, done. And last but not least, bish bash bosh bosh. There we go. You know, weirdly enough, the Rick Ross shampoo tastes remarkably like the Prime. Okay, so the Post Malone World Pong League, even though I didn't play it properly using this button thing, I did get to drink some Snoop Dogg red wine, some Cacti, some Prime, some Rick Ross shampoo, and so I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, so since filming the first part of this video, another item has arrived. That being this custard by UK rapper and Drake collaborator, Giggs. For my American audience, this is a vanilla custard sauce that you might find within eclairs or donuts. In the UK, we heat it up and pour it on desserts. The prodigal son returns. These Post Malone Oreos are like the most versatile things in the world. Right, here we go. Look at that. Right, let's go in for the taste. That's so good. I mean, it tastes like any custard, but any custard is nice. Let's finish it off, shall we? That was so nice. Okay, so the custard on its own is fantastic, and when I added it to the Oreos, it only became better. So for that reason, we're going to end this video with a bang, giving Giggs' custard a 5 out of 5 rating. Thanks for watching. I'll be making plenty more videos like this in the future, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, you can watch the video that YouTube are recommending you right now.